Well, the world lost a great friend back in 2023 when Matthew Perry died at just 54. The beloved Canadian actor was very open about the struggles that he faced, most recently in the memoir published shortly before his death, where he detailed his decades-long struggle with alcoholism and addiction.
Inspired by her brother's compassion and determination, our next guest is helping to keep Matthew's memory alive by supporting individuals on their road to recovery and life after treatment. Please welcome to The Social, Caitlin Morrison.
Thank you so much. So good to be here. Caitlin, we're so happy to have you here. And as I was mentioning to you, we read Matthew's book. And of course, like so many people, we're huge fans of his, remember him from film and television. And I think what most people remember about him is his incredible ability to make us laugh. But I'm curious, what is it that you remember most about Matthew?
I will answer that. And thank you so much for having me. You read the book. The book wasn't great in terms of making people laugh, but he was always great at making people laugh. And that was, when you met him, you would have, if you'd never met him before, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's Chandler, for sure. That's the guy, that's the sarcastic wit and the things. But when it came to his humor, he was sort of a guy's guy, he had a lot of fart jokes.
Oh.
a lot of kind of, stuff that I won't repeat on the show.
Okay.
But there was another side to him that was very teenage girl. Ooh. So he loved Joni Mitchell and Sarah McLachlan and Coldplay and stuff like that. And so one of my favorite things to do with him was to go for drives, put the top down on whatever car he was driving that week, and blast songs that should never be blasted, like not blasting songs, and just sing at the top of our lungs all over town. So stuff like that. That's kind of my favorite stuff.
So beautiful. Well, Matthew was a huge force in changing the public's perception of somebody that was facing addiction. So how do we continue to move forward in changing the stigma that still surrounds these diseases?
And I'm so proud of him for doing that. Like, I'm proud of him, coolest person in the world, but I'm so proud of him for doing that. And I think we keep doing it. He was brave, he spoke out about it. He could have just kept making people laugh and not talk about it, but he was brave and he did it. If everybody were that way, we would keep seeing all these extraordinary people who are living with that. And then the other thing that he used to say is that addiction wants you alone. It wants you alone because that's how it gets you. And so one of the things that we think about in the work that we do now for him is making sure that people aren't alone, making sure that they have somebody there with them who can be a part of this thing, that they can talk to, and they can be honest about what they're going through, and they can, weaken the power of that big, terrible thing.
I want to quote your brother, because he said something really important. He said, "When I die, I want helping others to be the first thing that's mentioned." You are currently the executive director of the Matthew Perry Foundation of Canada. Tell us about the foundation and the type of work that you're doing with the community.
I will. That's the kind of thing that somebody says and you're like, well, okay, 40 years, let's hope that's true.
Yeah.
But yes, I want that. We want that. The whole family does, and all his friends do, and that's why we do what we're doing. And what we're doing in Canada is we're looking at what people need the most. And what happens in Canada is that there's a lot of support for people very early on. So the first month of recovery, people can get treatment, but then they're on their own. And what we have been trying to do is to build supports, supports like peer mentorship, supports like housing, these kind of things that can help people for a longer time, as long as it takes their brain to heal, and just to keep helping them in that way. And I think that's exactly what he would do too.
So you have a new project launching soon, the Matthew Perry House. Can you give us sort of an insight as to what that is going to be like?
I can. I'm so excited about this project. And I'm like freakishly excited about this project. It's something that I thought about, we wanted to do it. We couldn't have imagined doing it anytime soon. It was like, maybe 10, 20 years we'll do this thing. But because there are a bunch of other organizations in Ottawa who wanted to do this too, Ottawa Community Housing, the Royal, CAPSA, Salus, Rideau Wood, all knew that people needed long-term support, we're able to do it. And so we're doing it right now. We're about to build it. It's going to be over 160 residential units for people.
Wow.
Where they can.
That's great.
Where they can live for 3-4 years as long as they need that support. And it's about a community getting well together and getting well in all the different parts of their life, not just recovering from substance use, but learning to build these really amazing, prosperous, happy lives that they can land in after they leave Matthew Perry House, which no one wanted. Yeah. Beautiful.
We gotta ask Caitlin, why did you choose Ottawa as your first location?
Well, I mean, Matthew's an Ottawa boy. Through and through an Ottawa boy. We used to fight quite a bit about that because I've been a Toronto Maple Leafs fan for a very long time, and he's a Senators fan, and so that was one of our little annual arguments that we would have, and he always won, of course. But no, he was born there. That's his spot. That's where he developed his funny. That's where he developed everything that he is. And so it just made sense because it's something that we want to do all across the country. But to start it the way that he started, in the place where he started, it just seemed perfect.
Yeah, special place for him. And listen, your brother acted for a very long time. I think he started even in his teens, but everybody knows Matthew Perry for his role as Chandler on Friends. That's how we all connected with him. And I'm wondering, do you have any stories from that time that you could share with us?
Okay, I love that time.
Yeah.
The show needs to be 4 hours longer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to pick
Tell
one.
those stories.
I'm going to make everybody a little bit jealous, being a studio audience that you are. In high school, when the show was sort of in its heyday, in high school for me, my friends and I, after school on Friday, would drive down to the studio and would hang out backstage as Friends was taping for 4 years, every week. It was amazing. But what I saw from him there was the amount of work that he put into the funny, the amount that he wanted filming to stop. He wanted to make everybody laugh so hard that the cameras had to go off and they had to reset. And he loved it when tapings would go like an extra couple of hours because that happened so much. And so watching him come back into the dressing room, and I'm there with my friends playing Mario Kart and being excited that Brad Pitt's in the next dressing room. And he's just like, okay, this word, should I say it like this? Should I say it like this? What's gonna do the trick? And then later watching like Jennifer Aniston have, crying from laughing so hard because he picked the right one, stuff like that.
What do you want Matthew to be remembered for?
He wanted to be remembered for the helping people, and yeah, I want that. But I want people to remember to laugh. We do a thing that's hard. The addiction thing is hard. It touches a lot of people. But that laughter is so key, and it's a huge part of recovery for people, laughter being healing. So just, if people keep watching him, keep laughing, keep getting their tummy aches from laughing too hard, all of that stuff, that would be the thing I think that he would say, yeah,
that's what I
want
want
to do.
Listen, Caitlin, it's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for coming and sharing stories about your brother and all the work that you're doing on his behalf. It's fantastic. If you or a loved one are looking for more information or peer support, visit MatthewPerryFoundation.ca. Stay where you are. We'll be right back. That was fantastic. No, thank you.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.